I've decided that I'm done. It's been a month now since I decided I was done playing into the YouTube algorithm, at least intentionally. And what's happened since then is very interesting. Even on surface level, if you look at the video viewership since that video went up, it seems to be higher for the most part. And also these videos have had less time to accumulate views than the ones before it. And if we compare just this line and below, a lot of videos with less viewership, one exception being Minecraft, but the crafting recipes are random. The interesting thing about this video with 324,000 views is that most of those views actually came in the last week. A video of mine that was relatively stagnant all of a sudden started getting recommended to a whole bunch of people. And I have to wonder, is that due in part to the way people are now watching newer content that's going up, that YouTube has said, oh, hey, this older piece actually might be interesting to people as well. Surface level observation can be misleading at times, though, so I want to go a little deeper and show you my analytics dashboard, which I don't think I've ever screen captured before, so hopefully I don't show anything I shouldn't. This is the 30 days leading up to the I'm Done video from May 18th to June 17th. A total of 4.1 million views, 53.6 million impressions, and the views are fairly consistent, fluctuating between lows of around 100,000 to highs of around 150,000. And if we go over to subscriber numbers, well, they're not so great. Turns out when you have a channel that's as old as mine, if you're not bringing new people in, older people they're exiting to the tune of 4,000 in a month. You remember when I was going above and below 10 million over and over and over and over? World record still probably never to be broken. Well, yeah, that's the sort of thing that can happen. Anyway, remember how the graph looks, because we'll move over to now the 30 days after the I'm Done video from June 18th to July 17th, the present, for a total of 9.7 million views, 136.4 million impressions, well more than doubled in both those categories. And in the subscriber side, I can't even give a percentage. It's undefined because it was negative before and it's positive after, but plus 61.2 thousand subscribers. Hi, if any new people are watching this who did just subscribe in the last 30 days, it's great to have you. Wow, what a change. Hopefully I can keep you interested with the content that I've kind of always been making, because again, we're not playing into the algorithm, at least not intentionally. So if it happens to go that way, it's simply because I misunderstood what the algorithm was actually looking for. Anyway, just for a better direct comparison, this is 30 days before, 30 days after for the last 60 days, and you can see it's higher here. Obviously, you could attribute a lot of the views in the last 30 days to those two videos that got a lot of views, between Thank You and I'm Done, both with around 1.7, 1.8 million views, which also the Thank You video, that was weird that got, why did so many people watch that? Anyway, so yes, a lot of those 9.7 million views were from those videos, but even if you subtract those two, it still ends up with a period of more viewership than the one before it, to the tune of about 1.5 million, and you can see that it has remained elevated here. The question, though, is, will that simply revert to mean over time, or is the algorithm actually going to end up preferring the new content, which is ironically not being made to be engineered to fit into the algorithm? Or is it that those two videos, which ended up getting a lot of people to watch them, just reignited the interest of some people who hadn't watched in a long time, who've decided to come back and view some content, maybe not having done so in many years? Or did it bring in new people who are now coming back to newer videos that I'm posting? Obviously, there's some new people. Given 61,000 new subscribers, that has to be a few new folks, not just a bunch of people making a second account so that they can make me happy that I'm somehow gaining subscribers. I don't think that's entirely what it is. I've seen Mr. Beast say before in talks that he's given that you can swap the word algorithm for audience. Obviously, what YouTube is trying to do in order to keep people on the site watching videos is to serve them content that they're going to want to watch. So the algorithm is the audience and what their interests are as far as YouTube can tell. So in going back to the episodic style of content, is that actually more what the audience has wanted to see for many years, than necessarily what I was doing, trying to look at other videos that are doing well and kind of figure out how to extrapolate from that and make content that kind of appeals to that, what I thought the algorithm or audience wanted to see. But again, that poll that we did a month ago asking people when they started watching my videos was very informative. And so at the end of the day, if you swap algorithm and audience, then your best bet is to make content that your audience is most likely to want to see. A lot of people, obviously, they've aged out. They're not watching gaming content as a whole, my content as a whole, a whole bunch of different possibilities there. But for the people who are still around, who answered this poll, there's a good chance that they're still interested in seeing what they came here for. So, was I wrong about the algorithm, aka the audience? Potentially, but only time will be able to tell if this elevated level of viewership here is simply due to the long tail viewership created by these two highly viewed videos, the thank you and the I'm done videos, or is it actually due to renewed interest because of something like an RL Craft episodic series and something that can be carried forward over time as I keep doing those sorts of series. The plan hasn't changed. I still plan to continue doing episodic series. In fact, I'm working on developing an idea that hopefully people will be very interested in for after RL Craft is finished up, and I hope it pans out the way that I want it to. Could make a lot of people excited, hopefully. So it maybe has given me a renewed excitement and interest in developing content ideas that maybe I didn't have before. So it's hard to isolate exactly what variables are at play here and whether or not they're sustainable going into the future. But as it stands right now, clearly there are more people interested in watching the videos since the change of not trying to play into the algorithm to get people to watch the videos. And there is a bit of irony to that, but it might be due to my own misunderstanding of the algorithm, aka the audience. And if that's the case, well, I do feel like a little bit of an idiot, but also you can't dwell on the past, and all you can do is try to use that info in order to adjust what you're doing going into the future. So I am trying to make the videos, the episodic series, RL Craft, more interesting. I have put more time and effort editing them myself, trying to add the music, cutting out the boring parts a little bit more so than might otherwise be done in the past. But the idea is to try to make the content interesting, make it the best version of the old style content that I can possibly do, because obviously there's always room to refine things. But anyway, I guess for those of you who are new, thanks for dropping by. And for those of you who have been around for a while and maybe decided to start rewatching since the I'm done video, if that got you reignited and back interested in what I'm doing, it's good to have you back. Whatever the case is, for anybody who's watching, I appreciate having you here. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out going into the future. I don't want to get my hopes up. That's never a good idea. But again, because we're sticking to the plan of just doing the stuff that I was doing in the past that got a lot of people in, we'll see. That's the plan. And maybe another year, we'll see how it ended up working. It'll be interesting, especially from just, a data and analytics perspective for the people who are interested in that sort of thing. So I thought at least I'd give you the 30 days afterwards update, because I have found it interesting, and you can just look on the surface level and see, look, there is, more people who have been watching since then, including a very nice amount of people who watched RL Craft episode 6. And I will say the RL Craft episodic stuff has done better than I thought it would. I figured we'd be down by episode 6 to, 30,000 views after the end of the first day. So thank you all for watching that. I appreciate it, for sticking with the series. And it's made me happier to keep doing them, even if we weren't trying to appease to, how to get more people watching. It's always, no matter what, nice to see when people are watching and enjoying something, even if your goal isn't to play into the algorithm, if that makes any sense. Once again, though, just to recap, the before, the after, and then both of them put together. Very ironic, I think. So, maybe thanks YouTube for liking the old style content, but really thank you, audience. And I should use that Mr. Beast technique of switch algorithm and audience. And maybe that's what was missing all along. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in future videos.